Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the Porsche Cup, the 992.2 at Adelaide Street Circuit for yet another track guide. Now, if you are going to run this in the open setup variant of the series and you want to race the exact setup being driven by Gianni Lutzu in this track guide, you can go to our website, sambosetups.com, or our Patreon page. There are links to both in the description. Any questions, do let me know in the comments, but please note the track temps and the track state are already shown on the overlays. Right, enjoy the guide. So here we are, smashing it over the start-finish line, just after the 100, on the brakes to about 45%, take some curb, take some more curb, don't get the off-track there, now we go flat out through turn 3, we're going to head over to the left-hand side, we're looking for the 100 board, on the brakes to about 50%, that's going to be the sweet spot, braking around here, over to the right-hand side, just before the 50, on the brakes to about 40%, trail it off, down second, back on the gas, over to the left-hand side, as soon as we get there, on the brakes to about 40%, back on the gas, and now we're looking for the 50 board, and just before we get there, we brake to about 40%, back on the gas in second gear. That is the most important corner because we are now on the gas all the way through until turn 9, although we are going to do the smallest of the lifts as we go through the turn 8 kink here. Little lift, back on the gas in 5th. Now we're going to get on the brakes well ahead of the 150. I'll show you in the breakdown, and again holding the brakes to about 50%, trail off down to first gear, back on the gas. Now we're going to go over to the right hand side just as we get to the 50, on the brakes to about 40%, again back on the gas in second gear. This is a track where you never stop, feeling like you're in it. Back on the brakes one final time, to about 50%, trail it off, down to second gear, back on the gas again. Yeah, you're going to be knackered at the end of this race. There is nowhere for you to rest. And over and across the line we go in a 1:17.2. We have the breakdown lap coming up next. Okay, breakdown lap. And you probably saw from the hot lap that, yeah, it's quite a tricky track. So our first braking marker is going to be this 100 on the right hand side. So as we go through there, we get on the brakes initially up to about 45%. Now we're going to turn in, and we want to be feeling like we're turning in and we're actually going to hit this tire wall on the left hand side. Now obviously we don't want to hit that, but we want to get nice and tight to it, and that is the only way that we can then get back on the gas and get through this second apex of the chicane without getting the off track. So we need to keep some part of our left hand tires on the track here. It is a very, very nasty off track, and you get a time penalty of about 1.5 seconds. So you want to be hitting the curb with your right hand side, and that'll jump your car up, but that's fine. And that allows us to get through this corner absolutely flat. We're now going to head over to the left hand side, and what you want to look for is this orange flash on the left hand side on the barrier, or the 100 board. So it's just as we get there, you can see this is just as he starts getting in on the brakes. And again, we're going to hold the brakes around 50%. Now, I know some of you brake later and you brake harder, but doing it earlier and lighter means you're not overdriving the car, you're not going to burn up your tires, and it also means you're going to get more consistent, higher apex speeds, which is what is important. This is where we get back on the gas, right? The apex hit, there we go, in second gear, and you can see that the minimum speed was sort of, what, 81, 82, 83 kilometers an hour. That's what we're looking for. Now we're looking for this 50 board on the right-hand side. And again, the sweet spot on this little section is just ahead of the 50 boards, but use those as your markers. This is where we get on the brakes. And again, up to a maximum of about 40% this time. We trail it off and we pick back up on the apex in second gear. Now we're going to go over to the left-hand side. Now, there is no 50 board this time, but it is going to be, if you see on the left-hand side where it says boost mobile, what we're looking for is we're going to get on the brakes more or less at the E of that first boost mobile you can see on the left hand side. So as you can see, I'm now alongside the E. I can actually sort of see it out of my quarter panel here on the left hand side, and you get on the brakes again to about 40%. We're going to trail that off and we'll get back on the gas in second gear, just giving that curb a little clip with our right hand tires. And now we're going to get on the brakes again just ahead of the 50 for the final corner in this little section. And again, up to about 40%, back on the gas at the apex in second. You're just wanting to carry that apex speed all the time around here. And this is a track where if you do brake too hard, you are going to have a problem later on in the race, because it does just destroy tyres. Got all these 90-degree turns. And, sorry. For turn 9, I'll show you where we get on the brakes. So we can use these trees on the right hand side. Now as soon as we go past this one, the big dark one on the right hand side, that is when you're going to be getting on the brakes once that disappears from your view. So it's just coming up now. It's just ahead of us. You can still see it, and then it's gone now. And that is when we immediately get on the brakes. So well ahead of the 150. And again, we're just holding the brakes around 50, 55%, all the way through until the 50. Now we're going to start trailing it off. We drop it down to first, and we're going to start picking back up on the gas here. At the apex, we don't immediately go up to 100%. There is just that little hesitation to get the rear end without losing it. And now we're looking for this 50 board on the right-hand side. And as we're alongside it, we're going to get on the brakes again to about 40-45%, trail it off, back on the gas in second gear at the apex. Now we're flat all the way until turn 14. The fact that there's 14 turns in a 1 minute 17 lap tells you everything you need to know about how tiring this is going to be. And this is where we start getting on the brakes. So just ahead of this white line up ahead of us. And it's once we're alongside the, more or less the apex of turn 13, we get on the brakes for turn 14. And we're going to straighten the wheel so that we're braking in a straight line. And you can see, because we had a wheel with input in it, it wasn't straight initially. Rather than just slamming on the brakes, you'll see Gianni rolled onto it when you look there at the telemetry tray. So roll on, and then we're going to trail off, and we're going to pick back up on the gas at the apex of turn 14. So that's the breakdown lap. We have one final version coming up next with the driving line on without me talking. Best of luck racing around here. I really enjoy it, but it is tiring. Enjoy.